That could be another component to it as well.
If you guys don't mind, can we elaborate a little bit on the line management? So I'm talking like, Amber, you're saying you don't have a lot of people waiting. So can you sort of share what it was like and what it's like now?
Of course. So previously, pre-COVID, we normally, while servicing our old sites, we would have people waiting in line before we even got to site to shower. And there was just a line that had started, and we would, take names like that. With the new site, we just really have maybe one or two people coming up at a time. The plan, though, is as our numbers grow and get larger, we will have to have our line, and if they come and they want to stay in line, it'll have to be socially distanced. They'll have to be 6 feet apart, and then we'll have a table set up with also a little plexiglass shield where they can come up, give their name, sign up for a shower, and then if they are next in line to wait, they can come wait in front of the trailer in one of the socially distanced seats in front of the trailer. But we will, we'll just, as the numbers get larger for us, we'll just have them line up according to social distance guidelines, take their names one at a time in a safe way, and then have them wait. If there are not enough seats and there's more people waiting, we'll give estimated times to people and have them come back. I believe that's something similar to what Sam does in San Francisco right now. Sam, you want to elaborate on how you guys' process is right now?
Yeah, so we started out just like you did, Amber. Pre-COVID, everyone's waiting for us when we show up to site, which is a really beautiful thing. But like I said, we just have a canopy tent, like you would take camping with you. We put it at the front of the truck, and I have 4 stools. At this point in time, I've only had a maximum, luckily, of 4 people willing to wait. Because like I said, we're in a spot where there are other things and other services to access. So like when I say there's an hour or hour and a half wait time for someone, chances are they leave and come back, which is another part of our radical hospitality method, right? Is not having folks have to wait physically in a linear line like they do most other services, especially in San Francisco.
Yeah, we want to give people an opportunity to do it. Yeah, go ahead. It says Tina, but I'll take your hand up. I don't want to do it.
Okay, well, this is first. Go ahead.
Tina is my wife. I'm out of Los Angeles. Like she indicated, we're trying to get new to this.
Yeah.
And this is for Miss Amber, since we were in LA together. I was just wondering, like you said, you guys are at a new site. So you actually, like you said, only 2 people, you bring in 2 or 3 people at the showers now. I was thinking about how is it better to get closer to where their homeless campsites are? That way you would get more people to participate in getting in showers. That because as I'm out driving around looking, they have there's several sites where there are. So I was just looking for the actual sewer dump to have to dump the water close by.
So you're talking about going to encampments. You're talking about pulling up.
Yes, or at least somewhere close within the area, because say for instance I go set up by a church, but it might not be too many people around the church, and it's going to be hard for them to even travel to the site. So what do you guys think about, like I said, I'm new to it. I'm trying to, actually I went out and purchased my own shower trailer just to give back. So I want to get started. If anybody can help me out, Amber, we're close to each other, but I want to help anyone because I do want to give back. But I just wanted to get an answer on what do you guys think of being closer to the site, because some people just don't want that going on in their area, even though it's needed. But that's the problem that I see when I just drive around and ask the questions.
I'd like to speak to this if possible. I think that is the most ideal situation, just to be able to drive up to an encampment and give some showers. The problems are the logistics. So at Lava Mae, we don't really go rogue, which is like just pulling up to a site without any actual support, which is why you hear us talk a lot about brick and mortar partnerships that also provide other services, because not only can they provide on-site support, but they have relationships built probably with the folks that we're serving. You're on the right page, though. I mean, that's what we've struggled with in the past, especially when starting up Oakland, is like there's so many large encampments that have been established for 10, 20 years, and we would love to just go to them. So we do try, and it is a journey, but we try to find brick and mortar locations that are near those high capacity sites that you're talking about. And you got to think also about like water and how you're going to relieve the water. You know, you don't want to drive an hour to dump your water. So there's all kinds of details that go into the decision-making process when you're looking for a site like that.
And especially when you enter an encampment, I like to consider encampments like little towns.
Yes.
I mean, there's a mayor, there's a real life boss of that encampment, there's a mechanic, there's the vet, there's the nurse, there's the mama. That's a real life, they have their own situation. So although we know that we're going to help, we could intrude on what they already have going on. We need to respect that. So security is a huge issue as well. Mm-hmm. And with all of our, and you know, with all of the partners that we have, and that's why in LA and in the Bay Area, we have 3 people on site, because someone's got to take lunch, and no one person should be standing there, right? So that's our little security, which is a whole nother event we'll have at a different time, challenges with security. But yeah, I think that you have to just be mindful. Lava Mae, we don't have water tank. We only have a tank to hold the dirty water. We have to have somewhere we can hook up, whether it's a fire hydrant. We try to find partners who will let us use their hose bib directly, because it's free for us and it's cheap for them, and everybody wins. But you're right. I mean, the NIMBYism is a real thing. Mm-hmm. NIMBYism meaning not in my backyard people. So that's a real thing where you it makes sense to you. You can park right there. It's close by where you need it to be, but then there's going to be the neighborhood and the community complaining because they don't want loitering. So yeah, I mean, you could figure out with your local, if you want to go hyper local into the encampment, you know, there's just some things that we should talk about further. But I just want to say, John, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad that you're in what I call the dream stage, because we want to help. We want to be here for you. Everyone is here because we are all here to help each other. So you're at a good place. So I'm glad you're here.
Yeah, and one more thing I want to say, like you said, going into the camp, like one site I did go to, like I said, I know how, I think I know how they run their camps when they're there. So I did get with one young man, and he was there for a while. And I spoke with him several days before and asked him to let the people know before I came. I actually did a walkthrough. And spoke with several people and asked them how they feel about having a service close by for them. And they talked back to me, shared some things, and they all would love to have the showers. So I did do the homework before I just think about pull up. So I go conversate and talk. I'm just, like you said, I'm a dreamer. I just want to help.
That's where it starts. So you're at the right place. Go ahead, Penelope, please.
I have my hand up in the chat. There's someone going down for somewhere. I don't know how.
Okay.
Let me take my braids out. It's like to show my face. They can see me. So first of all,
Happy to have you.
Thank you so much. This is my first time attending. I signed up for you guys over a year ago. I started a nonprofit. I'm from New Jersey. I'm from Morristown, New Jersey. Even though it's more of an affluent area, there still is a homeless population. I saw what you guys are doing. It's amazing. I want to bring it to here because it's not here and there's still a need. Sometimes we tend to walk in our heads in the clouds as if it doesn't exist. If we don't address it, then it doesn't exist, that kind of mentality. I'm at point 0 where I'm also a dreamer, but I'm a mover and a shaker, and I make things happen. And I've already got a lot of people as far as money backing, really willing to back me to even to outfit this. I saw your plans, I didn't understand how to do it. So hopefully somebody can give me some. I was like, okay. And I went to sleep. It stressed me out. So I'm looking to even figure that out. But I have funders and donors who are very wealthy here where I live, who are willing to put that together and get this up and going. As far as a place, where our police department is, we're lucky where our police department, our public health, Department of Health, and all different other services are in that same complex with a huge lot and access to water. And I have a relationship with our mayor, who is willing, he's excited about the idea and it's like, okay, I'm interested in putting it right there. So we don't have to worry about that part too. So I guess I'm just looking for support to help me with basically getting it built. I mean, I can raise the money for you. There's some people who want to give. They really want to give and they want to get the money. So I'm listening to you guys with your suggestions on chemicals, PPE, and how to taking notes. This is great. I read your all the different blog and articles you have, so I'm keeping abreast. So I guess I just, was just asking for some type of mentorship to get to where you guys are, because I want to serve. I want to help people, and this is my dream project. We have so many other initiatives that my nonprofit started, and we're doing extremely well with them. But this is my dream project to see this happen.
Well, thank you, Penny. And Amber's going to link up with you later today and give you one. We provide one-on-one mentorship with our replication lead. So, yeah, you're going to get a friend real quick. You're going to get a brand new best friend. Hey. Curtis, did you have something to say?
Can I comment just previous
kind of conversation about going out to the encampment? We are actually the largest homeless shelter in Iowa, so we're kind of already set up for that kind of stuff. And all I did when I ordered the trailer was spec to have like the largest gallon holding tank that we could. But I mean that because we're already an established shelter, what we're actually looking at doing is turning it into like an outreach thing. So something between just the showers and what you guys do with your pop-up clinics. But I mean, that just comes with like, I don't think we're going to be able to get like down to in the encampments themselves, but we can kind of set up close to there and then use some like guerrilla marketing and set up some signs out here, like showers that way. So that's kind of like our plan with that.
That's great. Thank you. Thanks for sharing that. I see Laura had her hand up, and then Kay, I'll get right to you. Go ahead, Laura, please.
Yeah, I wanted to go back to the going out to the encampments. That was one of the goals that one of our folks had too at the time. And so we have a 200-gallon tank in ours, and we could do that. But as it turns out, I think the best piece of advice that we were given was by this same gentleman actually that wanted to go to the encampments. He said he was doing a meal service that we tagged in with on Saturdays, and that's one of the places we started. And but he said, be consistent and be there, or else you'll just be like somebody else that let them down. You'll just be another one of those places that let them down. So we're real clear, and we've been doing this for about 3.5 years, and this is not to boast, but to tell you the importance of that entire time. Depending on when we were doing it, 3 to 4 days a week, and what the plan was, we've only not hosted showers once. And therefore, people know we're going to be there. They come back. Both places we have, one is kind of a mid-city kind of place, and the other is kind of more towards where people camp in the woods. But people find their way to you if they know you're going to be there, and if they can count on you. And I would just leave you with those thoughts, that if they can count on you, they'll tell their friends, and they'll find a way to get there, and they'll respect you and help take care of what you want to do.
Thank you, Laura. That's great advice. Kay, you're up.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. So I'm not even sure if I should have been on here or I'm allowed to be on here, but I'm actually located in Canada. So
you are very welcome here, Kay. Oh, good. Wow.
I decided to sign up because, as everyone, quite a few people here, I am one of the dreamers, and so I'm not even sure if there's anyone in Canada that's doing this, but I've been following Lava May for a couple years now, and iffing and budding, but I would like to start. So I was wondering maybe if there's anybody in Canada that does this, who's partnered with you or uses your model.
Yeah, Kate, so you found us, you registered on our on the Lava May X Connect site, correct? That's how you were able to RSVP to this event?
Correct.
So if you go on that first home page and you look on the map, you'll see we have a few Canadian organizations and just people who are trying to either build or providing. But yeah, the map's growing every day, so I would just keep updating and looking at it. But we have some Canadian folks that are interested or providing at this time. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. I just came to hear really more about it because I'm still very much researching and trying to understand it. So that's why I'm here. I just thought I'd introduce myself.
Yeah, happy to have you. Thank you, Kate.
All right. Thank you very much.
Okay, Marty, did you have something?
Yeah, I just had a comment relative to the going near a police station. We did this in Carpinteria, and we had support of the city council and the city manager and all of that rest of it. And we went there, and it was near a police station, and it did not work out at all.
Oh, wow.
So going near a police station isn't an appealing thing for the homeless in our area.
Sure, that's
good. Comment on that, because it's where our police station is. We also have other services that are in that same building. It's a very big building which has a clinic, and they're already clients of that clinic. So it's not a place where they don't frequent already. They do go there for other services. And there's also a social worker there. I believe it's like an ancillary location to our county social services for food stamps. So they try to do little silo locations. And so these are places that people already go to. They're already familiar and they frequent there. So it's not, I don't, maybe from just our town, I don't think there would be an issue with that.
Thank you, Penny. Carrie, I see your hands up. What you got?
Thank you. One of the cities that we're looking to work in has suggested, the city manager and law enforcement has suggested that we not have the site in the same location every week. They seem to have a challenge with the unsheltered population in lots of areas, and they're again worried about them congregating and causing just maybe more. But they have pitched to us a rotation schedule of, a monthly, 4 different locations within the city. It's quite large, different populations. And we feel uneasy with it because we really have built our previous location that's just been very successful on what we've learned from you in, the repetitions, showing up.
Yeah.
Can you speak to this proposal? We really want to be in this city. We feel like there's a lot of need, but concerned about what they're asking us, and not that we wouldn't be willing to move the location to lots of different places. That's neither here nor there to us, except for being consistent. So, and just thoughts on that.
So, I mean, this is open to the whole crew. I mean, this is open to the whole forum here if you guys want to jump in. But I'll say consistency is key. Stability is key for all of us in our daily lives. Knowing where we're going to eat, where we're going to sleep, just knowing just how to get to our car, how to walk to the store. So I think that whether or not you are providing the same service location, if you're going to find new locations, I just would continue to stick to those locations. So if you want to stretch yourself out to do 5 a week or do something, I think Laura said she does 4 a week. If you want to do 3 or 4 a week, I would just have at least a minimum of 12, 18 weeks where that's the only thing you do. You just go to all those places every single day, Monday here, Tuesday there, and not just show up once a month, once in a while. You just stay consistent. If that's what you're going to do, then you should commit to that being at least a 12-week program.
Right. Well, so even though we a 12-week, even if it's only a once a week, and so yeah, it's a once a week in different locations.
No, hold on. Just so I can understand what you're saying. Once a week in all of the locations, or you're saying you're only giving showers once a week and you want it to be in a different location every week.
That's what the city has proposed to us. They still haven't gotten back to us with any particular sites and locations, as we are still looking. We're looking to find out where the mobile medical from our county is, so that we could maybe snuggle up next to them and make that happen at the same time and propose those places. But yeah, I agree wholeheartedly, but I also don't want to not be in this city because of the criteria that they've been giving us.
I understand the want of wanting to reach as many people as possible, but I think if you're only meeting them once every couple months maybe, or only once, that just sort of defeats the purpose of community building, radical hospitality, and opportunity. I mean, one shower and then what?
Right. I wonder if it's not where it's like, some cities are really rigid. really closed off to this sort of thing, and I just wonder how open the conversation would be if you like were really frank with them, and maybe you have already been, I don't know, but just about like the level of impact that the consistency has and like how important that is, not only for unsheltered folks, but just like pitch it to them as like an important need.
And remember, Carrie, you have the tool, so you are in control. You should tell the city what you want to do. Don't let them try to run you. And I'm sure that they're willing to give you a little bit of this and a little bit of that, but ultimately you have the tools. You have what they need. So you probably have more power in the conversation than you think you do.
Right. Carrie, if I could suggest something, I would come back with, if this was me in this position, I would honestly want to only do 2 sites at the most. That way it could be done alternating weeks, because what you find is when you're doing shower service, most of the time you have different populations for each site. So rather than do 4 sites, you know, that's really technically these individuals only getting one shower once a month. If the populations are different locations, you'll always have some guests who will travel to different locations, but that's not the case for most of the guests that we serve. So if I was talking to the city, I honestly would see, you know, if you don't want us to miss one location every single week, could we do 2 locations and alternate between those 2 locations every other week, so that, you know, there's just more consistency there, because as Annie mentioned, consistency is so important. And what will happen is, I'm afraid, is if you're doing 4 different sites once a week, like your population just will not be there, because it's so inconsistent. And there's such a large time frame between when you come for a shower. I think it just will defeat the purpose.
And Carrie, and I encourage this with everybody, keep up to date on our calendar of events. We're going to have a discussion focused on city communication with some special guests. So that'll be something I'll ask you to, I'll make sure I ping you so you can join.
Thank you so much. I appreciate your input.
Yeah, of course. Michael, did you have something to say earlier? Michael's iPhone, in case there's a couple Michaels here? No, you're good? Okay. Nice to see you. No problem. Vernon, go ahead.
Just a quick question. How long do you let the guests take a shower? How long are they in there?
So we give everyone 15 minutes. And somebody asked this question in the chat earlier. I think it was Hunter. So I'm glad you brought this up. So I want to talk about it. Technically, everyone gets 15 minutes. And if they go over, there's sort of a step-by-step that we do. If they go over, we give them a little bit of a chat. Just let them know, like, hey, next time, if you need a little bit more time, just let me know so I can fit you in the line where it's most appropriate. And if they go over again, and it depends on how severe. If they go over 5 minutes, if they go over 20 minutes, and if they do it again next time I see them, I'm going to talk to them. And I'm going to say, hey, last time you went over, so just please don't do it today, or we're going to have a different conversation. And I say it sort of with assertion, but with sugar and kindness, of course, but loud enough so everyone knows that I'm talking to everyone, because this is the expectation. But then it also varies on, is this person have a handicap, or are they, you know, do they need the ADA stall? Did they have a wound that they need to dress? Do they have children with them, etc.? There can be, did they bring a pet? Because we allow pets in our stall. There's a lot of, but all we ask is that if they go over, we have a conversation with them to let us know that if they need to go over again, just to let us know before they go in so we can judge the line around that. So 15 minutes, that's the thought.
Watch NFL games live?
You want to touch on that?
No, well said. Yeah.
And I wanted, this is Laura, I wanted to touch on that, and I wanted to go back to the rotating city thing.
Sure.
Yeah, we do the 15 minutes, and at 10 minutes we give them a knock.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's kind of a little heads up for them. And it's cute because a lot of them go, oh, I beat the knock today. So that's like, you know, their deal, right?
Yeah, right.
They're kind of a team player with it.
Sure.
The person who's working with the police in the city and they're worried about it, I don't know what other people have found, but at one site, we don't monitor it one site we do 3 times a week. Mm-hmm. And at that particular site, there's a little shelter on site, and then there's walk-ups. But people don't linger, and they tend to go, and they don't tend to be a problem for the neighborhood. They come for the shower, they leave. At the other site, where we probably do the most showers, but only once a week. Sometimes they're waiting for us when we get there. Sometimes it just comes in a nice, orderly fashion and it all works out. But regardless, if there's anybody lingering, we just let them know that before the trailer pulls out, that the church asks that everybody be gone, and then people just leave. So it doesn't tend to be a lingering site for people. So I just want to, I don't know how that works for everybody else, but for us, I could honestly tell city officials and the police that they can come by and check it out, and it really shouldn't affect the neighborhood.
Thanks, Laura. Anyone else have thoughts on timing or questions regarding? You guys good? Okay, so before we wrap up, we're going over, so thank you all for sticking around. Before we wrap up, I wanted to ask Amber and Sam, while you're here, are you facing any challenges with the new COVID protocols as far as line management or partnerships? Or I know when I was on site in San Francisco, there was a few people who didn't have masks on. And I can speak to myself. One of my challenges, because I've been working in San Francisco for almost 4 years now, that it's really hard to not embrace people. It's COVID, so I want to be standoffish, but at the same time, my embrace is the only embrace they have felt for years. So that's one of my challenges, is just making sure that I can still balance the approaching them with the love and compassion and the radical hospitality that no one else is giving them, but then also making sure that they still feel that love and compassion. So that's my challenge. I would like to know from everybody, like, who is providing service, what your challenges are. Sam, Amber.
I'm glad we're talking about this, because it's a continuing conversation for me, because the struggle is definitely a real thing. It's been hard, like Amy said, not being able to hug people. I'm a huge hugger, even if I don't know you. I mean, like, the shower service is beautiful. We're all here because it's loving and wonderful, right? So, and personally, I miss being able to just, like, there's 3 of us on site, so if it's slow and there's a guest, I like sitting down and, like, chatting with folks, and that can be like 30 minutes sometimes, but you can't really have that same connection, at least I haven't found it yet, with social distancing. So that's hard. Service-wise, outside of my own personal stuff, it's hard explaining to people why the stall is sitting open for 10 minutes when they're sitting there waiting for a shower. They just, either they don't care or they don't understand. So they're like, I don't get why it's sitting there, or I don't care, just put me in anyway. And I want to protect them. So it's kind of a balancing game, I guess. But also the masks too. Lesser of an issue, but those 2 things I think are a bigger issue for us in San Francisco.
Absolutely, and Sam, I think that the matter of engaging, as much as we're used to engaging, is become a challenge for us. At the new site that we have in East LA, I don't think they don't necessarily know what to expect from us, but I think so the less engagement I don't think is as big of a deal for them, but I think for us it's probably more because we're unable to hug, we're unable to have the physical, because we are all about hugging our guests, sitting close and talking. So just the matter of the challenge is just engaging with them as much as possible and trying to convey radical hospitality in such a short time as, as they're sitting at 15 minutes right there, and then they're going in the shower and they're coming out and having to leave. It's kind of hard to give that radical hospitality in such a short amount of time, but we do our best.
So with that, tell me what you're doing. How are you able to overcome these challenges?
I like to joke around with people still. I'm, even though you have to be a little bit far away, I have a hoarse voice at the end of the day, but I still like to joke around with people, because, I don't think there's too much laughing happening that often, at least I don't see it. So that's one mitigating thing I've done, but we're all learning. I have weekly meetings with our team, and we're all trying to figure out how to make this as close to what it used to be as possible. Because like Amber said, I think the dynamic is just a little bit different because the guests there are new to you all. The guests that I'm serving have been, some of them, with us the whole time, like 4 times. So they're like, what do you mean you can't, give me a hug now? Or what do you mean you're putting my stuff in the stall instead of just handing it to me? So it's different. We're learning.
Thanks, Sam. And Michael, you have something? I see your hand up this time.
Yeah,